We're every
This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city. Thanks for watching. This morning's briefing made 600, but we've been doing 50. Oh, my fault. Can you hear me okay back there, everybody? Sure. Thumbs up. There we are. We sound better. Carl, you're losing a little weight there. What's going on?
I lost about
10. 10 pounds is a... What'd you do? You're doing the Ron Gerard?
Less eating.
Less eating by design or just...
No.
Just don't feel like eating as much? You're in training?
No.
Are you, like Curly, they're going to throw you in the ring?
I want to just...
Get back in there. Remember, they're beating him up. Get back in there.
I just want to lose some.
You're getting ready.
I am.
You're getting ready. All right. Anyway, we're live today. This is our live weekly show. It's called Inside Leominster. Thank you for watching. This morning was our 600th morning briefing. And let's see, we've been doing this for 29 years plus, 52 weeks a year, multiplied by 3 is about 1,150 shows. I don't know what it is. Anyway, speaking of important things and who's counting, But let's go to somebody that we hope is going to have a better July than the end of June. It's time for the art report.
You can say that again, my friend.
I know. You kind of fell apart on me in the last week or so.
Oh, my God. 2 events in 2 weeks. Crazy. But something went off in my head yesterday on my way to golf. There was a woman, well, it could have been a guy, but it was a woman. Doesn't matter what the sex was.
Yes.
But what set off tonight's little chat, she was thumbing a ride up by the old high school and carrying a rubbish bag. And I said to myself, that's different.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody thumbing a ride, and I don't know when. And that used to be quite frequent. People just stuck their thumb out, and they'd get rides. And then I got to thinking, in our old neighborhood of the Carbine, a lot of the guys that were much older than us kids went in the Navy, the Army, the Marines, Air Force, whatever. We'd always see them getting out of strangers' cars that they had thumbed on a furlough and come home, and they were all in uniform.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore. You see a lot of guys wearing the camouflage, et cetera, like that, but Navy, Air Force, you just don't see that anymore.
No, people used to thumb
have
back
them
from New York. And they thumb back from Jersey. They thumb all the way home for the weekend.
Yeah.
That was common.
Yeah. And you know, another thing is your lady friend seated right up against you in the car.
Well, because they don't make, they make all split seats today.
Now you'd be sitting on top of somebody's seatbelt.
That's what I'm saying. They make split seats. Everything's a split seat.
And you don't see chrome on cars anymore.
No. You see entire front ends on the highway, all plastic.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll tell you, and it goes on and on. Free air at a gas station, or having someone clean your windshield when you gas up, or put the gas in for you. They're rare to find nowadays. And paper boys, paper girls. That's how I saved up my $25 for my first car. I went around the neighborhood asking people if they'd like me to deliver the paper. They all said yes. I got about 25 customers, and I delivered the paper every day. You don't see that anymore.
No, they don't have.
In fact, I don't think they have paper boys, paper girls anymore.
No, did away with them.
And unfortunately, I don't know if that has an effect on strangers and what's going on in this world today, but it's too bad.
Yeah.
And the last thing that really bugs me, because I don't know how they pull it off to keep them running, but the buses, back in the day, the buses were 2/3 to 3/4 are full all the time, going from Fitchburg to Leominster. Mm-hmm. Now, you're lucky to see 5 people.
Right.
It's everything that we did seemed to have gone by the wayside. Drive-in movies. There's another one. And now we just lost Candlepin Bowling on North Main. That was there for a good 30-plus years.
Yeah, well, longer than that.
Yeah.
But how could you buy that property? And you'd have to run bowling 24/7 to pay just for the property. So he hung in there. I mean, he was talking about retiring 25 years ago, the poor guy. And, if you don't have somebody in the family that's interested, what do you do with it, right? You sell it as a bowling alley, and who buys it? Because, well, I mean, it sold for over $1 million. That's a lot of, you'd have to bowl 24/7, 7 days a week, and have every single lane filled, and then they'd have to buy food and alcohol and everything else in between. So the numbers just don't work.
I wonder what they're going to do with the airplane on the little pitch and putt they got going on over there. They got that seaplane.
I'd like to buy it.
An attraction, if you will.
I'd like to buy it. Maybe I'll go over and find out what they're going to do with it.
That'd be interesting. Do you know what's going in there?
We keep hearing offices, but nobody's approached us yet, and they should, because we have to make sure, we want to make sure we let them know. We have a technical review where, different departments and inspectors come in. We just want to make sure they have enough parking for whatever it is that they're going to do, but we haven't heard from anybody. Last time I checked with the building department, they hadn't heard from anybody, but yet the sign said they sold it and it's going to be offices, so I don't know. It's a big building.
real estate today is just, it's crazy. Everything's selling for big bucks. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Our city is looking good, and it's prospering. I've never seen so much construction in my life.
Well, it's all good.
Do you have any idea when the lights will be working on down by old Wilkinson Shell on Route 13?
Fall. That's what they said last time. They said fall.
When?
Fall.
In the fall.
Or sooner. I mean, they may have said fall just so that we think November, and they actually turned them on in September. But they're moving pretty quickly down there right now.
Yeah. I have to be careful when I go to garden because they've got it lined where I should be way over in the left lane. But the folks coming headed towards Whalum don't know that, so I wait till the last minute before I can turn. I don't want to get ahead on.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Having said that, I now we're going to let you go and enjoy the rest of the weekend. It's almost here.
Happy July.
It's crazy.
It is.
What happened to the, it'll seem like we were talking yesterday, and I'm going to be saying, what are you having for turkey? It's unbelievable.
It's only a couple months away.
It sure is. And then it's Christmas, and we start all over again.
As they say, time waits for no one.
Okay, have a good one.
Make the most of each day, right? Isn't that what Jack Chase used to say?
Jack Chase. I finally come to the conclusion how fragile we can be by dropping a stupid coffee cup. I mean, hello? It's crazy.
You want to hear good? You got time for a good one?
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know. I must have had a cold or something. So I don't know. Maybe I had the liquid. I don't know. Was it liquid NyQuil or something? And they had a little cover on the top, so you'd pour it into the cover.
Yep.
So I grabbed it by the top, the cover, and I brought it out of the medicine chest, and it dropped. The bottle separated from the cup. The bottle hit the porcelain sink perfectly, and the whole bottom of the sink came out and sliced my toes. How's that? Yeah. How could that even? Perfectly. Choom. Took that bottle had to hit perfectly to break that porcelain, and the chunk of porcelain went and sliced my toes. That's it. I was bleeding out. My brother went and got a Band-Aid. My brother Frank said, "Here's a Band-Aid. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding out." He says, "Here's a Band-Aid."
I mean, my worst incident, I was having a proposed X-ray, and they said pushed against the machine and it ruptured an artery vein. You talk about blood. Oh, I passed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had to, I'm at the hospital, and they had to call an ambulance to bring me to the emergency room.
No.
I mean, what are the odds? That's a great place for it to happen, though.
You lucked out.
You better believe it. Okay, buddy.
Hang in there. We've got visitors coming from the fire department. We're going to be talking about ambulance service. How's that?
Well, you know what? This was my second ride, but they were all young guys, and I was, quite frankly, there wasn't much conversation because I didn't know what was going on. And, I guess your brain takes over, and I just said, well, just follow them. I'm with them. We'll go wherever we're going.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, so ain't I. And then the missus.
Carl, too, because he said, because he didn't want to have to replace your picture with Tom Conway's picture.
Yeah. I'll have to get one with the golfing. Okay.
All right, buddy.
Vote that fella.
All right. You hang in there. And
yes, sir.
Just be careful, right? Just be careful.
I will.
All right. We're going to take a short break here at Inside Leominster. Coming back with the fire chief, deputy chief. We're going to be talking advanced life support, what it means to you, what it means to us in the city, and how it all gets rolled out. Be right back. Leominster. Let's see. I'll answer some questions right away. Let's see. Virginia Santiago is out in Crosby. Where is she from? She's in Minnesota. She's in Crosby. What town? Is it Crosby? I'm trying to look. Crosby, Ironton, Minnesota. I don't know what part of Minnesota that is. And somebody wants to know any news for us regarding the Shaw's building. Everybody's excited because now they're putting up fencing around it. So we are not allowed. So they have a lot of companies do this now. They have a non-disclosure. They don't want to share the name of the company because, I don't know, competition might go and try to stop them. Who knows? So it's often done now where they prefer that. And our policy really is if they want to tell somebody, just like the movie, Parenting, they said, yeah, we'd really like to keep it quiet. And then everybody in town knew. We knew, but we couldn't say anything. And then, the first, I don't think it was a week into it, and somebody posted on social media, my husband delivered the dumpster. And he asked the guys that were working there, what are you guys doing here? What's the movie? And they said, the Parenting. So there you go. Anyway, I want to welcome the Fire Chief Sideleau and Deputy Chief Long. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for inviting us.
And unfortunately, a wake after this.
Correct.
Firefighter that worked in the department for many, many, many years. His son is a firefighter as well. And yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, he's still he's a young man.
We consider many young, right? I mean, based on what your health is, you could be 90 and young. Or unfortunately, sometimes people get really ill at a young age, and there's nothing stopping that. So,
no.
Anyway, thanks for coming on. We'll talk a little bit about the fire service or ambulance service here in Leominster. Maybe kind of explain, how we run it right now, and how many ambulances there are in town. Some days it seems like I see 3 or 4, but I don't know if that's just
busy,
somebody coming back. But ambulance calls are up.
Yeah, correct. So, I've been on your show a few times, and Greg also, and we always talk about the ambulance and the EMS and how busy it is. And I ran the numbers the other day for this fiscal year, and it's the first time we're above 9,000 runs total EMS and fire for a year.
So from last July till now.
July 1st till June 30th was over 9,000. It takes us a couple weeks just to get the numbers perfect. Right. But in that also was the ambulance runs increased, was the big part that increased. And, we're like...
Aging population,
yeah.
People are back on the roads again. You've got people traveling faster on the highways. We have all those highways coming through town.
Yeah. So, so as we mentioned before, is we provide 2 BLS ambulance, basic life support. They're staffed by 2 cross-trained firefighters, EMTs. We respond to all the 911 medicals in the city of Leominster. And depending on the type of call, if it reaches the level of ALS, then we'll send the fire truck and we send the medic truck. And the medic is a private company, been doing business in Leominster for the last 20 years or so. But like everything else, they're getting busier.
So just to back up a second, ALS, Advanced Life Support.
Advanced Life Support,
So
correct.
that would be the call where it's difficulty breathing, heart attack.
Correct.
It wouldn't be for cold and flu symptoms.
Anaphylactic shock,
Yep.
Allergic reaction type calls. So that gets at ALS, which is Advanced Life Support Paramedic. And that service has been provided by a private company. And the private company, like I said, they're getting busier. So they're not available as we get busier, they're busier, right. They're less available. So working with yourself and City Council, and we're going to start our own paramedics. So our program is, and I'll let Craig explain it, so I don't do all the talking.
Well, we'll explain. So
yeah.
Basically, first of all, everybody that's on the fire department, including yourself, is an EMT.
Correct.
That's not every fire department. There are a lot of fire departments where they're not required to be EMTs.
Yeah.
Correct?
So
correct.
The state requirement is you have to be first responder,
right.
which is basic first aid,
and CPR.
bandaging, CPR. EMTs are where all of that plus we can administer aspirin when someone's having a heart attack. We can do a certain type of airway. We have to have more recertifications throughout the, our 2-year period.
Right.
So our level of care is a level up from, the basic. And then the advanced life is the paramedic. And they can do the cardiac monitors. They can administer narcotics, pain management. One of the big things that we see them do is someone's having a heart attack and a STEMI, is they can treat that person, get them down to UMass, and they send them into the cath lab, and their arteries are cleared, and they have no damage to their heart.
That's amazing.
No damage to, stroke symptoms. So we see that quite often as, that's like you see the results that day.
I remember
you
my
see
father
results within hours.
at the emergency room, and this was at the very beginning. I don't know if they're clog busters or whatever they call
Yep.
them. And the doctor said, he's having a heart attack, and we're going to get him to UMass or St. Vincent's, wherever it was.
Yep.
And we're going to give him this, and it's kind of experimental, and we hope it'll just kind of blow its way through. He went in a helicopter. We got down there, not knowing what to expect. We got there, and it worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
It's amazing.
It was amazing. We're like, thank goodness, because you got another check online.
Right. Thing that's changed over the years too is for a hospital to be able to treat pediatricians, they have to have a full-time, pediatrician on duty. So the new way of doing it is sending the people to UMass. That takes advanced life care to get them down here. So if we get a sick child, we can bring them right to UMass.
So you don't have to go to the emergency room.
Correct.
You go in. So if you're on the south side of Leominster or anywhere.
Yeah, we could go directly
Go
there.
direct.
If we're on the north side, we could stop in the hospital. The doctor could give the paramedic the okay. But in 20 to 25 minutes, we could have a sick pediatric patient in UMass or St. Vincent's.
So why delay by going to the hospital?
Yeah.
And I hear more and more the ambulances are going direct to UMass or wherever
they call it, it's our point of entry in Massachusetts. So we're regulated that the point of entry, if it meets a certain criteria, it's got to go to like a trauma center or a cath lab. And we can't do that at the basic level.
Right.
We can do traumas, but we can't bypass a hospital if we're not at a certain level. With the paramedic, if we're on the south side and it's 12 minutes to UMass and it's 6 minutes to Leominster, the paramedic has the power to go right to UMass.
So Craig, how's this going to work now? We've got ambulances, and now there'll be paramedics. Will they show up in an ambulance? How does this all work?
So our game plan is to do a what they call a chase car, where the paramedics would be in that vehicle. They'd have both have sets of gear, and they would go to the ALS call. If it requires one paramedic, one could jump out, go with that call, and go to the ER. If it's CPR or something like that, where it takes 2 medics, they're both there, they can both jump in. But if it only requires one, that other one is still available for another call that comes in. So that's how we're trying to get it going.
Sometimes people will ask, they'll be like, I'm just curious, how come sometimes there's an ambulance call and I see an ambulance, an engine, a fire truck, an engine, then the paramedics show up from another company. Why all this?
Right.
And I know the answer, but
right. So for us, we like to have more support. So if it's an ALS call, they're going to get the closest engine or ladder to go on that call with them. So there's more hands to help the patient get them out of the house that they're in.
Right. So if the ambulance was on a call, but they were clearing it to a hospital, the call comes in. It's way up on West Street.
Sure.
You just start sending an engine because they
all EMTs are showing up. They all have
care as soon as you possibly
equipment on the trucks, so we can get it started even before the ambulance gets there.
The goal is to get a firefighter EMT to a house
as soon as possible,
within 4 to 6 minutes. That's the goal that's kind of set in the standards, and it's a goal that we meet. You got to meet it like 90% of the time, and we do that. So by us sending the engine company is we get there quick, so we can maybe move someone's head for an airway, obstruction or stop the bleed. And then, like Craig said, is now you have more hands.
Right.
So we're giving the patient much better care, everybody at the call has something to offer. Everybody may picks up
and
on
everybody
something.
knows what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
So they know. And the other thing is, you don't know what you're getting into when you get there.
Correct.
It might be somebody that's on the second floor. They might have passed out in a difficult spot.
Yeah.
Now you have to wait, call for some more help. Why not get the help there, right?
Yeah.
And some,
Even if it's someone that can hold the door.
right,
you know, it's a
right.
help.
That's
It's a help.
simple. Or
Yep.
let me run downstairs and get this. We thought we were going to use the chair, but we're not. We're going to use
Right.
something else.
We have to move heavy furniture sometimes.
Right.
Um,
People in the basement sometimes. They're on the backyard. There's a fence, right? You never know what you're getting into.
and it's hard to prove, but I know that our injuries are reduced by sending more
Yeah,
help.
Yourselves. So
Yes.
somebody's coming down the stairs,
Correct.
somebody backs them up and
Correct.
say, hey,
Right.
watch out, that stair's not safe. You better
Yeah.
be easy, right? Another
Right.
set of eyes.
So the cost of the fuel and sending a fire truck is we're making that back tenfold when we don't have someone that has an injury and we have to hire overtime.
So it's all part of the training.
Yes.
Everyone knows what everyone else is doing. Everybody knows what's on the truck and where it is. They open up a cabinet,
Correct.
it's there. They all know, I mean, they're all trained in the same capacity. So like you said, even if they hold the door,
Yeah.
that could matter a lot.
Right.
And then sometimes a vehicle has to get left behind, or so there's good reason. I hope that's I hope people understand there's a purpose for that. It's not just rolling another truck out for no reason at all. And if you get to an accident or you see, sometimes just letting the family know helps on the way.
Right.
You know, if you're waiting for the ambulance and you could get a truck there sooner and start care and getting ready or prepared and evaluating, it's just going to make it.
A little,
yeah.
little side note is we're going to Donnie's wake, calling hours. We recognized one of his daughters a couple of years ago.
Yes.
She was a waitress in a restaurant that did the Heimlich maneuver on a very good friend of all of ours, grandchild.
Yeah.
And
Saved.
you know, and then we got there quick, but it's a team effort from the community.
Right.
We're trying to do more outreach with the CPR and the choking victims, and then our whole system kicks in.
And then I know it's going to take a while because the defibrillators. That is another part, right? The
Yeah.
faster we can start something going on here, whether it's the defib or even now we have the police cruisers respond. If somebody's not breathing, whatever, right? They're first responders. You know, anything. The faster we can get to them, the better.
Right.
And then the faster we can get them to either Worcester or whatever we are. We're fortunate. We have a good hospital here. We have a big emergency room. And we're very close to hospitals in Worcester. And sometimes the life flight will come out and go to Boston direct. So
And then we're upgrading the dispatch center.
Right.
So in the dispatch, it all starts there with the call takers.
Yep.
Right.
And our call takers are trained in the police right now to do the EMD dispatching, emergency medical dispatching. They can give instructions over the phone.
So how's that work now? So from my understanding, if somebody calls and says, my husband or somebody, they're not breathing,
They can-
something comes up on the dispatcher's computer, correct?
Correct. And the dispatcher will talk to the call to the caller.
And they'll ask questions.
Ask questions, and then they'll give instructions. So they may give instructions on how to do CPR. They may give instructions on how to reposition the heads so that they breathe.
Open airway, yeah.
Open the airway.
So don't get frustrated if something should happen,
Yeah.
whether you're at a restaurant or whatever, and you call 911, and all you thought is, don't get frustrated, like, why are they asking me all these questions?
Yeah.
There's a good reason why they're asking these questions, because they're going to walk you through the process. Two things, right? They're probably trying to they're going to dispatch, they need to know who to dispatch, they need to get a little bit, right? They need to get prepared so they know what they're sending people for.
They can tell us.
And they're going to be helping you walk through the process of telling them that they have a pulse, and then if needed, they're going to walk you through the CPR process.
And
right?
while they're doing that, the call in the background is computerized. It's coming over to the fire department, and it's coming to our computers and dispatching us.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah, there's no
So
delay.
you're getting that right on
Yeah.
live.
So when they take the phone call and they're entering in information and giving you instructions, they're hitting, the certain button, and it's sending it to us.
So the passenger in the ambulance is reading this on the way.
That and the fire dispatcher is hitting the tones, and we're out the door.
So this is all going on in seconds.
Correct.
Right? Because you want to prepare, right?
Yeah, there's no delay, like Craig was saying.
Even as simple as I went by an accident, I'm calling, the airbags have been deployed. That
Yeah.
tells you something, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
correct. Yeah.
that is information that the fire department's going to need to prepare on how many people they might dispatch to it, right? I
Correct.
mean, it gives them a little bit of, you know, anything you can help them with. So I know sometimes I bumped into people like, why, you know, my husband's on the ground, they're asking me all these questions. They're very important questions. It's preparing everybody. And also they may ask you to do some things, to check on some things, but also maybe start CPR, compressions, or who knows what might be going on, right? I mean, so there's a reason, there's a prompt. The dispatchers train. They're trained. It's not like the old days, just answer the phone and you dispatch. Now, there's a whole lot going on, and this whole screen's going to light up, and it's going to start asking the questions. Yeah. So they're required to ask you those questions.
Correct. And so if they get a call and someone said, my husband fell, well, a simple fall would get an ambulance. If the dispatcher says, you know, is he talking to you? Is he breathing? Right. And she says, well, he's breathing, but he's not making sense. Right. That would kick it up to an ALS response. Bleeding. So that one question may get you help sooner and faster in the proper amount of people there with the proper equipment.
978-534-1626. This is a good learning experience because these are the things that come up, and when I talk to especially young kids, I'm like, you watch them, when we talk about in your mind, go through this in your mind when you're doing things, when you're taking a test, when you're doing sports. It's training. It's training, because when all of a sudden, just as an impulse, almost like it's intuitive, you watch somebody get to a fire, an ambulance, and they go right for something. And I'm like, you know what? That better be there. Like, if they're going to get something, whatever it is they were looking for, it better be there. Correct. And that comes through training and training and
muscle memory.
Right. It's just intuitive. It's like, I know that if I'm in any city, right, another city fire department comes here, they're going to go for that. It better be there, right? I mean, it's pretty standard. A lot of things are standard.
Correct.
Well, we got a fire chief here and our deputy here. We're talking about advanced life support, but it migrated to other things which are important. But they're going through extensive renovations to 210 Lancaster Street, which began as Lancaster Street School, then a plastics museum. We used it for the police department for a little while, and now it's fire headquarters and also a training area.
Correct. Yeah. Thanks to the police, they kept it nice and ready for us to jump in.
Yeah, ready to go.
But we're there for a little over a year now, and we've made tremendous progress, thanks to, again, the mayor and the city council. So our main offices are there. We've made training, classrooms. We have training simulated house in there.
You actually built a house in there.
We have a 1,100 square foot, 5-room ranch inside.
Inside the building.
Yeah.
And it's cool because it's a brick building. You can use it for climbing, setting up ladders, that kind of thing. It's perfect. And
so we do a recruit class there. We were able to use artificial smoke, crawl around. And then the second floor is we're building the dispatch. So that's where we're going to relocate the police and fire to one dispatch room. The room is big. It's going to have plenty of room for expansion. That building was built to stand between the plastic museum and what the police department did. It's structurally a great building.
So it's like perfect. It's like it was almost built for the fire headquarters and training center.
It's worked out really, really well.
On the training part, I can't emphasize enough. Both Craig and I don't know if you ever dispatched, but both Craig and I did. And I'll leave it at that. We both were superior dispatchers.
The best.
But today it's a separate profession.
Yes.
You have to be trained and certified to work in a dispatch area. You can't just take anybody and put them in there and say, okay, bidding is December, you bid the job, there you go.
Right.
And you go, and you're now the dispatcher. Well, I don't really know much about dispatching. Well, I don't know, but they'll send somebody in for an hour, right? It's not that way. Dispatching is it's a whole career today. It's a whole profession, and there are standards that you have to meet. Everything's
computerized now,
and it's a standalone. You can't just walk through the place and talk about the Patriots Monday night game or anything. There are standards that have to be met. Only certain people get inside, and it really has been helpful. And since we've got that 911 system now, where You know, people from the highway can call and get the closest police department. And before it used to be confusing because, well, where are you? I don't know. It's pitch dark and I'm somewhere between Concord and Greenfield.
Right.
Right? I mean, we used to have
yeah.
that. I mean, so things have changed that make even that a profession today.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was looked at in the past as low person on the totem pole, right? I mean, that's what it was at the police department, at least. It was, yeah, you're the last guy to bid, or lady, and guess where you're going? You're going to go sit in there, and you answer the phone when it rings, you know?
No, as we've got to know the police dispatchers better over the last 6 months because we want to merge,
Right.
they are very professional.
Yes.
You know, so that's why we want to combine with them. The technology, every year there's more technology that the dispatcher, so we can get good maps. They can ping where a cell phone's calling from.
We only got a couple of minutes left, and then we're going to head to the wake services for retired firefighter Creed. About 15,662 people got tested yesterday. 1,115 tested positive, 18 deaths. One is too many, 72 new cases in all of Worcester County. We're down to 44 cases. I'm sorry, we're down to 88 cases over 14 days. Your new brush truck's going to be coming in this month. Everything is taking forever to get. So if you wanted something and it's brand new, you better order it because it's probably going to take 5 years to get the next one. The ambulance will be coming in next week. You got another ambulance coming in soon.
Correct, yes.
And so that's good news. It's Global Forgiveness Day. It's International Peace and Love Day. National Dive Bar Day. Did you ever go in a dive bar?
Never.
Never.
I love them.
What'd you say?
I love them. My favorite.
Dive bar. I got thrown out of, I actually, where was I? No, what was that place in Fitchburg? Right on Bemis Road. You know, I was playing, you know, that skittle ball there.
Yeah,
You know,
Red
and
Star?
I think I said, huh?
Red Star?
The Red Star. And the guy said,
heard of it,
use
I've heard of it.
appropriate action, speech. I said, inappropriate speech. I was just playing the game. I don't know what I said. I don't think it was that bad, but it's like, you got to leave. I'm like, leave? What are you talking about? It was shuffleboard. You know, it was a bunch of us. We used to go around different places and play that bowling thing there. It's National Father-Daughter Take a Walk Day. National Macaroni Day, National Strawberry Sundae Day. It's Saba Saba Day in Tanzania. Solomon Islands Independence Day, Star Festival, Tell the Truth Day, and Thirsty Thursday and World Chocolate Day. Don't forget, you can watch the progress of the Leominster Police Station by going to LeominsterPoliceStationProject.com, and also the new rail trail, which is TwinCityRail.com. August 6th is the 2nd is National Night Out. And Kids Day, we combined them. You just had a meeting today about it. That was a big hit last year.
It was huge.
Putting the two events together. Then Starburst is the 27th, and then September 24th is Johnny Appleseed Festival. I don't know. Do we have photos of the week that we can do in 3 minutes? Oh, don't forget, tonight is the concert over there at Carter Park. Let's see, Sonny, at 7 o'clock. And then the Colonial Band starts next Tuesday. Already is the 12th. Can you believe it? The 12th. Every Tuesday, and if it rains, their concerts start at 6:30. I'm sorry, at 7:30. And if it rains, go to City Hall. Leominster Day at the Woosocks, the 24th of July. Starburst on the 27th. Here we go for pictures of the week. Look at Sally and Larry. What wonderful work they do, huh? Isn't that beautiful? And, I don't know. Great night for summer concert tonight. Again, starts at 7 o'clock with food. And congratulations, 7 new Eagle Scouts in one night. Huh?
Wow.
Is that not a record? Troop 11. And years of scouting all in one place. Just incredible, huh? They all took their oath. Pretty cool. And a realtor meeting at the library. So they said, geez, we think we can probably have 12 people show up. They had like 24. It was great.
Wow.
All the realtors come in, kind of get updated on what's going on around the city. That's an indication of excitement. Right? They're excited. They didn't have to come. Junior Police Academy, it's also, they do fire services and police, and they give them a little taste of everything. But you know what? It was a big class. Kids had a great time. They had great instructors. Yeah. It's a great program. I still think I'd love to run it during the fall and then the spring again, but something we could talk about later. And Bubble Man. Nobody's better than Bubble Man. Look at that guy. Huh? He gets nothing like getting inside the bubble. Don't try this at home, though. New brush truck arriving this month. I saw this for the first time the other day, and I'm like, that's quite a truck.
Oh, yeah.
And we need it. We're surrounded by between Leominster State Forest and all the land that we own. We're surrounded. Look at Route 2 last week, right? Wouldn't it have been nice to have that truck?
It would have.
And more of it. Look at that. Is that the ambulance or is that the truck itself?
No, that's the truck.
That's amazing. What a piece of equipment that is. And a Throwback Thursday, there are the Featherstones. We had Featherstone Flamingo Day just a couple weeks ago, and we had lots of fun. All right, everybody, we're going to continue on with something else, Carl, right? Because we've got to take off, but we want to thank you for watching the show. We did 600 morning briefings this morning. We'll just keep doing them until there's nobody watching. And thanks for watching here. We're going to take off, but again, remember, the world is run by those who show up, and you need to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisInsuranceAgency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.